Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Cozy Girls Club, the podcast. I'm your host, Michaela, and this is a podcast where we just talk about all things cozy, grow with purpose, and build with cozy vibes only. This episode is so exciting, and I know I say that I'm excited literally every single episode, but this one, episode 14, is probably the most excited that I've actually been throughout my entire journey of starting this podcast. But we have some exciting announcements. Okay, so before I even talk about the topic, just because I don't want to keep everybody who's watching hanging, I am wearing Cozy Girl Club merch right now. I'm so excited. I wore this the day after I got it in the mail, and it ended up being 80 degrees outside, and I did not care, but I wore it and I shot a promo in it, and I'm so excited. So I actually want to show you the promo right now, and then we'll come back and talk about it a little bit more. So if you're listening, you probably only just heard the music. However, that promo will be on Instagram and YouTube everywhere. It'll be live on Friday. So you guys who watch and listen to the podcast are actually the first ones to see it and the first ones to know that the merch drops next Wednesday, April 30th. I am so excited. What's so cool about this is that on my little goals for my business for the year, one of them was to drop merch by April 30th. And so the fact that it's actually dropping by the 30th is really awesome. And I'm just so thankful for this community. And it might not be huge, it might not be like the biggest thing that anybody's ever seen, but the community that I've built is so loyal and so faithful. And I'm just so thankful for it. And yeah, you guys will be able to get your Cozy Girls Club merch. I really love these because on the chest it says Forever in My Cozy Era, which I really love. But then on the sleeve it has the Cozy Girls Club podcast name. So it's not like this, I don't know how to describe it, but when sometimes you get merch and it's like somebody's logo or it's just very branded to them. I wanted my merch to be something that you could grab out of your closet and put it on with an outfit that you actually want to wear and actually want to be seen in, and not just I'm going to bed in this, I don't know. I didn't want pajamas. I wanted actual clothes. So there's this sweatshirt. There is this one, which is in the chocolate color. And then I have one that is cream and the words are actually in the chocolate color, which is really cute as well. And then I have a cropped tee and it says Cozy Girls Club across the chest. So now that we've talked about the merch, I'm so excited for everybody to grab it. Like I said, it'll be out next Wednesday. So next podcast, we can talk about it. And I'm so excited to see everybody wear it. I really am. And yeah, so in this episode, I think this is like a perfect episode for talking about launching merch and then just talking about brands in general. We're talking about building a brand that feels like you, and it fits together, and I'm just ready. I'm ready. So have you ever just looked at your brand and you were like, this does not feel like me, it does not look like me, I just am not connecting to it, I feel like it doesn't align with who I am? That's not uncommon for people who are just trying to build a business quickly. But in this episode, I'm going to share a couple of tips and just kind of how I got out of the mindset of having to have my business look like everybody else's. So if you've been here for any length of time, you know that I love nails. I had a business for 3 years doing luxury press-ons. Side note, I know I said I didn't want to get off topic, but I still have my YouTube channel that I started when this channel was my nail podcast. And so I started a whole nother one so I could just do nails. And so I started doing that again because I was telling my husband, I was like, I really miss just making nail content just to make it. And so I've been doing that over there. I only have one video up. I think it's going to be bi-weekly because I don't want to burn myself out. and it really is just for fun. So if you want to follow along with my nails, you can follow it. I'll link it below. I also posted it on Spotify, so it's like coming up as a podcast, but it really just is a video. So it's on YouTube and Spotify. So you will be able to check them out there. But anyways, I had a nail business. One thing about getting into a niche is that it's really easy to start wanting to look like everybody else. It's really easy to start wanting to get what everybody else has, to use the colors, the fonts, the tone, their language, everything. And when you build a business, you really want to build it on who you are, which I'll get into later. I was following the neon trends. I was following the like bubbly, like letters and personality and like neons and all the things. And just looking at me right now and where I am and the color of my merch, the color of my logo, the way that I do my content now is nowhere near that at all. It's nowhere near the neon, the bright, the anything like super duper colorful. Now I love color, but like over the top color is a little bit too much. So when I was doing that, I was becoming more and more disconnected, which is why I feel like when I was doing my nails, I rebranded so many times. Like I was like hot pink, and then I was light pink, and then I was like green, and then I was hot pink again. Or I would just kind of like do this like floating thing. I would change my name. When I first started, it was Rose Gold Dream. Then I changed it to Nails by Michaela. Then I changed it to Cozy Girl Fancy Nails. And then when I went to go back to Nails by Michaela, somebody actually had already used that name for themselves. And I was so upset. So then I had to put Nails with a Z. And I was like, this is not me. I don't use Z's. I want everything to be spelled the way that it's supposed to be spelled. That's just me. I know some people do it and it's like super creative and whatever, but not me. I just like things to be spelled the way they are. So I was just feeling really disconnected. I felt like I couldn't connect all the way to my nail business. I couldn't connect all the way to who I was, and who I felt like I should be in that nail world. And because of the disconnect, I felt like I was just like, there was so much pressure on me to keep going. I felt like I was just getting super burnt out. I did get burnt out to the point where like I just stopped doing nails altogether. I would still do them for myself, but then I would even get lazy in that. And one of my biggest things was like, I don't wear store-bought press-ons. And then I started going to the store and buying press-ons because I was that burnt out of doing my nails, and I just can't function without having nails on. So I would do what I knew I could do, and that was go to the store to get some. So when I came into this Cozy Girls Club, you guys saw me rebrand. It was called Another Cozy Morning, and now it's Cozy Girls Club. But when I started this, I wanted to make sure that I started it from a place of who I was and building from a place of who I was, instead of following more people who are like me and do the same thing I do, or just have this like cozy vibe to their content and cozy vibe to their business. I didn't want to fall into that same rhythm of like, okay, they have X amount of followers, they get this much engagement, their things look like this. And I wanted it to be who I was and not based on the algorithm and like how I could grow fast, how I could grow quickly. I wanted it to grow sustainably and something that was not going to like have anything that slips through the cracks. So with this business, and I've talked a little bit about how I got into like content creation in previous episodes, but with my nails, what I really loved about doing nails the most was the content creation aspect. So when I moved to doing content creation with Cozy Stuff, it led me to my video editing business. And so I felt like once I got into that, I was able to then say, okay, I have this business, I'm running it this way, and I feel like more people should be able to live the same way that I'm living as a solopreneur, as a entrepreneur, as a business owner, all the things. Like, I feel like more people should live this way. And so because I was living a certain way, I decided to make all of my content come from that place. This is how I live. This is how I run my business and this is how I'm able to keep it up without burning out, I can happily say that I started this business in January. It is now almost the end of April and I have not gotten tired of it once. With my nail business, I was definitely over it within like 3 months. And then I would like go on this hiatus and then I would come back. I would go on this hiatus again, come back. And it was like it was not sustainable. The income was just all over the place. Usually, and again, I've only been doing this for like 3 months, but these past 3 months have been very like, the income has been very similar each month. And so the fact that I built that to be more sustainable is like kind of proving my point of like you being you and you doing what you like to do and building from that place is going to keep it more sustainable. So to build this business to feel like me, I had to focus on alignment. How was I going to align with this business? And one of the biggest things was the colors. And I know like a lot of people that talk about branding will say your colors and your fonts aren't the biggest thing about your brand, but it is the first visual thing that anybody sees when they go to your website, when they go to your social media pages, when they look at you. The first thing that they see is color or what you look like. For my brand, I wanted to make sure that it was going to be something that I enjoy. And so, little backstory, 1008 Creations, 1008 is my birthday, so October 8th. And the colors are based off of coffee. I wanted it to be like neutrals and browns and things that were going to kind of match everything. So no matter what I did, no matter where I was, whenever 1008 was put onto something, it was going to match and it was going to look like it should, if that makes sense. So even my merch is the colors of 1008, the chocolate brown and the cream coloring, and people have been eating it up, which is so cool. So again, your visuals, the colors, all of those things, those matter because that's what people see first. And so I wanted to make sure that I aligned with it. So when I go out and people see me, they don't see something completely different than my business. I look like my business, if that makes sense. I also decided to choose a tone and a voice that matched me. I am this monotone, very calm, very, I would say soft spoken. Somebody on my last podcast episode commented and said my voice is so cozy. And so I just kind of like decided, you know what? I don't have to act. I don't have to have the inflection in my voice. People are going to listen who want to listen, and that's fine. If you don't want to listen, you don't like the way I sound, whatever, that's fine. What my business is for is to attract people that get me, that are wanting to work with me because of who I am and not because of who I'm trying to be. My nail business, a lot of people had these bubbly personalities. It was a lot of like hard hitting. I just remember like scrolling on Instagram and the sounds that people would use are very upbeat and very like hard hitting and like punchy. They want to grab your attention, which is fine. It's good for them, but that's just not me. And so when I would do it and I would have like soft music behind it, it's like, oh, okay. But again, that would have been my brand in that, and the people that got it would get it, and the people who didn't wouldn't. The last thing that I did to make sure that I was aligned with my business was to create from a place of joy instead of a place of like obligation. And of course, when you run a business, there's going to be deadlines, there's going to be things that you have to hit, and there's going to be things that you're going to need to have done by a certain time. Like, I understand that. And you do have obligations to your clients, to yourself, to just keeping your business going. But I didn't want to make my business more of an obligation than it was joyful. I wanted to wake up and want to be at work. I wanted to wake up and want to do the job and serve my clients the way that I do. I didn't want to wake up and just be like, ugh, I can't believe I still have to do this. You know, that's like creating a business is to get out of that. You're not working for somebody else, so you don't have to follow their rules. You don't have to run things the way that they do. You run it yourself. And so if you're waking up to your own business and not feeling fulfilled and joyful, then you probably should rework some things. So I'm inviting you now into my Cozy Girl Advice Corner. That might be so cheesy, but again, who cares? But yeah, I wanted to kind of tell you like some things that you could do to sustain your business and to make sure that you feel aligned with what you do. So the first tip that I have is to build your business around your life and not the other way around. You don't want your business, well, let me say it like this. I am a big believer that you work to live and you don't live to work. The thought that your success in life is what you do and like your business and everything, that is not the purpose of life itself. I definitely feel like we are supposed to work. We're supposed to, help keep the world going round. But at the same time, I feel like we were put here to enjoy this earth. We were put here to enjoy life and to enjoy what's around us. And so if you're working 25/8 and never living life because of your business, I just don't agree with that thought process. But my business is just something that is a part of my life, but not taking over it. My second tip would be fill it with things that are you. That's fonts, colors, emojis, blankets, your tone of voice, your messaging, all of that going into your business should be you. I'm this cozy person who likes my house and likes working from home. So that's what my business is. You're seeing my living room right now. If you're watching, this is my living room. Right here is my desk. Working from home is just an amazing thing for me. So being able to do that, filling my content with that type of things and that type of thinking, filling, just me every day, just like evaluating and being like, okay, Michaela, is this you? Is what you're doing for this content, for this merch, for your business, is this you, or is this you trying to do something like somebody else? Always have to have that thought process. My third tip is staying true to your core values. I feel like when you put your values first when creating a business, and that doesn't necessarily mean like shoving down people's throats everything you believe in from every topic on earth, but just like being like, this is how I want my business to be. I want my business to be kind. I want my business to be fun. I want my business to be something that people can feel safe with when they come to it. I want my business to be calming and cozy and just inviting. Those types of things, instead of it being just kind of like I said, based on other people that you see. What do their businesses look like? Okay, they talk about this all the time, then I should talk about that all the time. And that's not necessarily the case. Your business should put out your messaging, whether you are talking about it or not. I don't know, you guys can let me know. I feel like I do a really good job of being inviting and being sincere and being real. And that's kind of just how I want my entire business, content, everything, no matter how big it gets, I want that to embody what my business is. I want that to be its reputation. My fourth and final piece of advice is to let your business evolve as you do. As we grow, we change. So does our business. Some systems that you have in place right now as a solopreneur might not work when you start getting employees. Right now, I edit all my content. I plan all my content. I reach out to every single one of my clients. I'm the customer service for my clients. I'm the accountant. I'm everything. But one day I might say, you know what? Because I'm editing everybody else's videos, I want somebody else to edit my podcast. And I might hand that over. So now the system that I have of just kind of recording when I can will have to be put on a schedule. It will just have to evolve that way. You could also evolve by maybe adding different colors. I know this is so weird, but Lowe's, the hardware store, I remember as a kid it being so dark and gloomy and I did not ever want to go in there. And now for some reason, just the change of their blue, like from that dark navy blue that just was so dull, they changed it to like more of this like bright, fun blue. And I actually enjoy being in there more than I did Home Depot. And I would go in Home Depot because it was more bright and inviting feeling, but now Lowe's feels that way. I don't know. I don't know if anybody else feels that way. And I know that's a weird like comparison to bring into this part, but they evolved. They were like, you know what? This blue is kind of dated. This old kind of like just not cute blue is kind of dated. Let's update our colors, and that's okay. Just like transitioning as you evolve is fine. So those are all the tips I have for you, but I did a thread post and I want to read some of the comments that I got on that thread post to kind of encourage you some more. I will also link it below so you can follow along if more people comment on it, or I'm not going to read every single one of them. So you can go look at it at your own pace. Somebody said, I dug deep into my foundational beliefs to ensure whoever my clients are people I enjoy waking up to work with each day. Beautiful. Love that. It's so important to enjoy who you're working with. My nail business, I did have to learn how to fire clients because they just were rubbing me the wrong way. Some clients just aren't for you. They're for other people, and that's okay. And that's just where I'm going to leave it. Someone else said, I want everything I do to be authentic, so I infuse my brand with my values and my voice. Whenever someone finds my written material, it matches what I say to them in person, and that's huge. When people read what you post or read just about you, read about your business, and then they meet you in person, they should see a correlation and not just like online you look so nice and you're so calming and inviting, and then when they see you in person they're like, whoa, she's the complete opposite. She's not inviting, she's not calm, she's giving off this weird energy. Like, you don't want to be that person. Someone else said, I matched my color palette to what I wear in my everyday clothes. Even something as small as your color needs to be authentic to you. And I 100,000% agree. Like I said, changing my color palette to something that, one, I wear, but also is just kind of throughout my house. It also just represents who I am and just kind of the calming vibe that I feel. I agree 100%. That's cool that she did it to what she wears every day though, because she literally is branding her business every day by doing that. So those are all I'm going to read today. You can definitely go, like I said, into the thread post and look at some more. But I am so excited for this week's check-in or reflection or journal prompt, whatever you want this to be. My question to you, or I guess my prompt to you, would be to reflect on your business and find things that are like you and that are not like you. Whether you're building a business, you're starting a business, you have an established business, I encourage you to do this because it's going to help you refine and just really structure your business to be what it should be. After you do that, you'll be able to see, okay, these are the things that I can keep and these are the things that I need to work on, and your business will just be refined and more beautiful than it's ever been before. I really want to hear your brand stories. So whether you comment on this podcast or you DM me on Instagram or thread post me at me on Threads or whatever, I want to hear about it. So make sure to do that. Also, don't forget to like, rate, share, comment, subscribe, do all the things for this podcast so that way other people know it's a good podcast to listen to and just to be a part of, because we are just the coziest little community here on the internet, and we're just building businesses the cozy way to make our businesses us. That's all that I have for you today. Don't forget that you can order your merch next Wednesday. It will be on my website, which I will link below as well. And again, it will be posted on Instagram. It'll be posted here on the podcast. It'll be posted everywhere, so you'll be able to find it. But I'm so excited to see you guys wear the Cozy Girls Club merch. It's going to be so cool. And so just like, I don't know, I feel like it makes it more of a community when everybody is like wearing the same thing. With all that being said, I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, your week, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, everybody. Stay cozy.